Hi, I'm Matt, and I run the security specialist team here at Splunk for our national defense customers. Despite years of SOCs centralizing their network security data in Splunk, many organizations still struggle to operationalize that data in a way that allows them to keep up with their alert queues, let alone do anything proactive to detect adversaries moving within their networks. SOCs spend too much time managing data instead of using it, allowing adversaries to continue to outmaneuver them. That's why many of Splunk's security experts enjoy working with Corelight data for network monitoring. Their comprehensive, correlated, and open data takes a headache out of full network visibility and is specifically designed to power the Splunk security stack, from search basics to advanced capabilities like zero trust and machine learning. Over to you, Alex.
Thanks, Matt. My name's Alex Kirk. I'm a global principal engineer at Corelight. So why is it so hard to operationalize network security data? Most organizations use a model that looks like this, collecting data from a variety of different sources like application servers, network devices, security devices, etc. Each of these is a potential failure point. The connection to Splunk going down, a device admin disabling logging to save CPU, problems with mapping to the common information model, and so on. Even if a given log source is ingested with no problems, it may not contain security relevant information such as responses to DNS queries. By switching to Corelight, SOCs can eliminate management overhead and improve the quality of their data at the same time. Idaho National Labs was able to replace 9 distinct data sources with Corelight, which improved their processes enough that they were then able to use Phantom to automate their way from over 5 million alerts per day in need of human review down to 500. Note that this strategy is complementary with EDR. There's a reason terms like the SOC triad and XDR have gained traction in the market. We'll be approaching this from a network-centric point of view, but with endpoint and identity data in mind as well. Getting Corelight data into Splunk is as easy as it gets. Full layer 7 packets are sent via TAP, SPAN, or packet broker, whether on-prem or in the cloud, to our sensors, which are available in any form factor you need. The sensors are configured to stream data to Splunk via the built-in universal forwarder, HEC, or even both, in a process that takes just a couple of quick clicks. The data is then processed by the Corelight app for Splunk for maximum SIM compliance, enabling security functionality across the suite of Splunk apps at a level of depth not provided by other NDR vendors. Not only does Corelight dive deeper on common protocols like SSL and DNS, it covers others like Kerberos and SSH, and directly links IDS alerts it generates to the surrounding protocol data for accelerated response. Once Corelight data is in Splunk, it's immediately useful in apps like enterprise security. Here we see a set of IDS alerts. If we dig into one, we can see not only the analytic that generated the notable event, but also key context around it, including the fact that it's already been pulled into an investigation. In addition to Corelight specific content, the data fuels out-of-the-box ES analytics, like this one that looks for RDP traffic, that can easily be combined through response actions with a Phantom playbook that checks the CMDB and notifies relevant sysadmins and/or management if a potential case of shadow IT is detected. Consolidated and clearly linked data also dramatically simplifies workflow automation. Take, for example, this playbook, which is published on the Phantom GitHub, for responding to potentially malicious DNS queries. Using only Corelight data, we can see the responses to the query, whether successful connections were made to the remote host, and pull out all the intelligence an analyst needs for a head start on an investigation, from HTTP or SSL details to the hashes of files transferred and IDS alerts on the connections to the suspect domain. Taking action when problems are discovered is easy with Splunk's huge ecosystem of integrations, whether that's blocking an infected laptop at the firewall when known malware is detected, adding new indicators to a threat database, or scanning hosts with newly discovered services. What about more complex detections? Tools like UBA are great for broader analytics, but they're only as good as the data that you feed them. A detailed view of the network is a core component of many UBA detections, from anomalous end user activity to potentially compromised servers. Machine learning is consistently rated as one of the least reliable security technologies by SOC analysts. Why is that? Vendor-supplied ML detections are often black boxes that spit out alerts with very little context surrounding them. When they produce the inevitable irrelevant alert, analysts can spend a ton of time following dead ends. Since the vast majority of ML models will require some site-specific tuning to get truly right, there's always that one weird printer or IoT device that breaks the model. The lack of visibility into the algorithm, and thus what to look for to validate an event, has kept adoption of ML-based detections artificially low. Splunk's machine learning toolkit takes the opposite approach. Based on open source libraries, it's specifically designed with explainability of algorithms in mind. Combined with Corelight's open data, Splunk users are empowered to use and create detections that can be trusted by their analysts and extended both for site-specific items and advanced adversary tactics not provided as part of out-of-the-box engines. Speaking of things that aren't simple, let's talk about zero trust. The best guidance Corelight and Splunk have seen on the subject is the NSA's Embracing a Zero Trust Security Model white paper, which specifically calls out the need to inspect and log all traffic before acting as one of the key pillars of their strategy. Network connections that lack associated endpoint and/or identity data can easily be tracked in Splunk, allowing analysts to quickly identify policy violations in need of remediation and/or investigation. Having details about these out-of-policy connections also helps analysts prioritize which violations to tackle first. Outmaneuvering adversaries has always been a difficult task. Combining Corelight and Splunk gives defenders the advantage by filling the space attackers must maneuver through with enough turnkey and custom detection that they're left with nowhere to hide.